6 obese women have asked the Food Hospital to help them try to reverse their type 2 diabetes. Taking up residence in our extreme diet ward, they'll be monitored 24 hours a day as they embark on 2 very different but potentially life-saving diets. There will be tears, tantrums,
she's getting on everybody's nerves.
She just goes on and on.
I know.
and life-changing realizations.
I wish I had looked after myself and I wouldn't be in this situation now.
But if they can stick to the diet, the price to both their future health and the nation's pocket is great indeed, because Britain is in the grip of a type 2 epidemic. It costs taxpayers around £1 million every hour in drugs and care, about 10% of the NHS budget. It affects approximately 1 in 20 of us. A frightening 850,000 people have it, but don't know it. You could be one of them. And it threatens to bankrupt the NHS within a generation. The time to act is now.
And now we have reached the moment that you've all been waiting for.
Diabetes is a metabolic disorder which leaves people with higher than normal levels of sugar in their blood. This can lead to other serious and potentially life-threatening conditions. So, in a bid to stop the type 2 diabetes epidemic in its tracks, the Food Hospital is undertaking a radical experiment. Recent scientific evidence suggests that this disease, which was once thought to be incurable, can now be put into remission through a change in diet and reduction in weight. 6 women have volunteered themselves in the name of science, and over the next 4 days, they'll be monitored 24 hours a day as they embark on 2 very different diets, both of which have the potential to reverse their type 2 diabetes. But will the prize of a healthier and potentially longer life win out over these 6 women's love of food?
Oh, wow, look at this. I think I will have this bed over here.
First through the door is 44-year-old human resources analyst Kathy from London.
Well, the Ritz it ain't, but I guess we're not here for comfort and luxury, but yeah, it's fine. I will cope, I'm sure.
Are you doing this in a pan? Or?
Yeah, in the pan.
Kathy lives with her boyfriend Nigel, and the couple share a passion for food.
I know that's way too much for 2 of us. I can tell just by how it feels in my hand, but we're hungry. We're going to eat it. I've always enjoyed having that really nice full feeling that you get after a big meal and being able to go, and unbutton your top button after it. It's a nice feeling.
But Kathy's love of food could kill her. She was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 1 year ago.
It was a very strange experience and I felt absolutely distraught. I know that when I eat the wrong things, it makes me feel a certain way, which isn't pleasant. I was just thinking how nice it would be to round this fine Italian meal off with a nice tub of ice cream. Hello.
Hiya.
Hi.
Next in is mental health nurse Manjit from West Bromwich.
Very cosy. Wow. I didn't expect this. I thought there'd be separate bedrooms, but it should be fun. Definitely.
Joining Manjit and Kathy in our extreme diet ward are office administrator Sammy.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Very excited. I'm raring to go. Sort myself out once for all, and this is my time.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And care worker Nikki.
I've been diabetic for 10 years. I've done about 1 million different diets you can think of and tried cutting out carbs and you name it, I've done it.
Barmaid Jodie and shop assistant Abby.
It's really important. It's like the start of a new chapter of my life now. I'm really raring to go for it.
It's going to be cosy, isn't it?
It is, very cosy.
Today they'll start new diets in the hope of reversing their type 2 diabetes in just 8 weeks.
Something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and to be able to do something like this along with doing a new diet and stuff, I think it's brilliant. I think it's quite exciting.
Over the next 4 days, GP Gio Miletto and dietitian Lucy Jones will be supervising the women closely as they embark on the most important and toughest 8 weeks of their lives.
Hi. Hi. We're going to be trying to reverse the trend of your diabetes and potentially put it in remission in a very short space of time.
There are 2 types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. You will have type 2 diabetes. Now, type 1 tends to start in childhood, and it's people that don't make any insulin at all, and they're the ones that have to give themselves injections to replace the insulin that the body doesn't make. In your case, type 2 diabetics, your body produces some insulin, but it's either not enough or your body can't use it properly.
In a healthy body, insulin helps the glucose in the bloodstream, seen here in green, to be absorbed by the body's cells and converted to energy. In type 2 diabetes, glucose isn't absorbed properly, and it's this high level of sugar in the blood that causes havoc.
Diabetes affects pretty much every organ of the body. People who have diabetes, especially if it's not well controlled, are more at risk of dying of certain kinds of cancer, including bowel, breast and ovarian cancer. You're more at risk of getting cardiovascular disease.
It can also lead to blindness, loss of limbs and organ failure, including the kidneys. In this case, the high sugar levels in the blood cause the tiny blood vessels which filter waste to become narrow, clogged and eventually stop working.
Diabetes is like a runaway train in the distance. It's far away, it doesn't look so bad, but when it's upon you, it's an absolute train wreck in terms of your health.
Scary.
It's shocking.
Shocking, yeah.
But putting it all together like you've just done there is frightening, but that's the reason why we're here.
Dietitian Lucy has gathered together the latest scientific evidence and has selected 2 groundbreaking diet plans for the women to follow over the next 8 weeks.
So what are your worst fears in terms of what's going to be under these lids?
Not enough on the plate.
Okay.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
3 of the women will be following a ratio-controlled food plan, whilst the other 3 will be on a mainly liquid diet. None of them have any idea what's under the cloches.
Okay. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Yes. After 3, you may lift your lids. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, come on.
No. Okay. It actually looks really nice and it smells kind of nice as well.
I think what I want to say isn't repeatable.
Can we swap?
Taking into account the current state of their health and diabetes, as well as the amount and types of medication they're on, Gio has carefully selected the safest diet for each woman to follow. Kathy, Manjit and Abby are on the least medication and will be placed on a low-calorie, prescription-only meal replacement drink. Using the findings of a successful trial run by scientists at Newcastle University, they will drink 3 200-calorie milkshakes or soups a day, along with 1 small portion of non-starchy vegetables. In total, they'll be consuming just 800 calories. Whilst the milkshake diet has been proven to work, it is very extreme, so the food hospital want to find out if there's an easier way of beating the disease. Sammy, Nikki and Jodie will be placed on a high vegetable, carb-restricted ratio diet based on research undertaken by scientists at the Rowett Institute in Aberdeen. 40% of their calories will come from carbohydrates, 30% from protein and 30% from fat. They will get double the number of calories as the milkshake group, consuming 1,600 calories a day. That's around 1,000 less than they usually eat.
That's actually more than I eat.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So you're not worried about feeling hungry?
No, but I'm worried about not losing weight, and that's not what I was prepared to see.
What were you expecting to see?
Something like that.
This worries you because you think it won't work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Both of these diets are going to help you to lose weight. What we anticipate is that you guys will find it more manageable and more realistic to do this in an everyday environment. You guys are more likely to struggle.
The pancreas and liver in each of our diabetic women don't work properly because they're infiltrated with fat. the women should lose weight on both calorie-restricted diets. They'll use up the fat stores in their pancreas and liver, allowing these organs to control blood sugar more effectively, potentially reversing their type 2. These extreme diet changes should only be done under proper supervision.
So you've all had a few sips. What are your first thoughts?
Well, a big juicy steak, it ain't. And I think for me, personally, over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to miss that chewing sensation.
The first 4 days, they are going to hurt. The milkshake diet is extreme. It's really hard to stick to. And although it works, we couldn't keep somebody on it long term. We just wouldn't recommend it. The 40-30-30 diet is something more achievable in day-to-day life. So if it works, it could really be revolutionary for diabetes.
As the women settle down for their first meal in the extreme diet ward, the reality of going head-to-head with their diets is starting to sink in.
I myself am quite disappointed about having a little milkshake. I'd much rather be having a lovely big plate full of vegetables and healthy food I can actually chew.
I'm actually quite glad now that I'm not on the other one because I'm not going to be starving.
I'm still a little bit not happy about the milkshakes. I think it will be difficult. So I don't know how I'm going to cope for the next 8 weeks.
Coming up, testing times for milkshakers Abby and Manjit.
Just too much.
What's too much?
Having diabetes.
The spiralling cost of managing type 2 diabetes threatens to bankrupt the NHS within a generation. So the Food Hospital has set up its own extreme diet ward, and these 6 women have been set 2 very different radical diets in a bid to beat the disease.
Oh, come on.
Before they took up residence, GP Gio Miletto sent them for a series of tests at Newcastle University. They included MRI scans, blood tests and body composition imaging to determine exactly how bad their diabetes is.
Hi, Manjit.
Hiya.
Come take a seat.
Manjit has struggled with her weight for 10 years and now tips the scales at 15.5 stone. Gio's analysed her MRI scan, which has revealed the levels of visceral and subcutaneous fat in her body.
Okay, this is your outer body here. This is the spine. All this is fat.
Are you serious? No way.
Yeah.
No, oh my God.
There is a direct link between a larger than average waist circumference and the risk of developing diabetes. In women, if your waist is bigger than 31.5 inches, you should be screened for the disease. Our 6 women's waistlines range from 44 to 52 inches.
So the other thing we look at though is visceral fat, fat around the viscera, the internal organs, and that's just as important in terms of your kind of health. But you've got an awful lot of it, and you can see there's a little bit of fatty infiltration into the liver.
That's just a lot of fat. I'm really shocked.
Manjit's right to be upset. The pancreas produces insulin, so the fact that she's got lots of fat around both her liver and pancreas is contributing to her diabetes and increasing her risk of an early death. Type 2 diabetes is thought to shorten one's life by on average 10 years.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Next to hear her results is the baby of the group, 22-year-old Abby.
And you can see there's quite a lot of grey material in between, so that's visceral fat. That's a fat that might be around your liver and kidneys. And this area outside of the abdomen is the peripheral fat, so that's fat that you can visibly see.
That's quite scary. Gobsmacking, I think.
Right, and your fat percentage was about 46%. Now in women, you really don't want to see that over 30, 31.
Mm. It's close to, half of me is fat. It's just too close to 50. It's really scary.
Abby lives in Bridgend with her mum and dad. By the age of 21, after years of comfort eating, her weight rocketed to 23.5 stone.
I did like my junk food. I used to get up in the morning and have an energy drink with a bar of chocolate. Then I'd go to college, have another energy drink, maybe another bar of chocolate in my break. It was basically sugary foods that filled me through the day. My life revolved around food.
Abby was diagnosed with type 2 last year.
It kind of did upset me, like. but it was hard. It didn't feel like it was me, and I kind of wished it wasn't me. And it was like my whole world was crashing down around me. And it was the shock of my life. It did scare me. It was a big wake-up call that I needed.
Back at the extreme diet ward, Abby and the other women are about to sit down to their first evening meal together.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like it needs ice and a slice.
Abby, Kathy and Manjit are all on the 800-calorie-a-day milkshake diet.
Combines garlic, Dijon mustard.
They'll have to sit opposite the 1,600 calories a day foodies, Sammy, Nikki and Jodie.
I'm trying not to think about too much what the ladies are cooking, ignoring the sounds and the sizzling noises that's going on.
I just want to go in there and chuck another potato in the oven. Come on, girls, make room. Oh, smell that.
On the menu tonight is tenderloin of pork with a mixed green salad and asparagus. Both diets could potentially reverse the women's type 2.
Didn't expect it to be this big again. It's quite a lot.
I wish we had quite a lot on our plate.
I'm sure if you make it a little bit thicker as well, you know, use less water, it will turn into a kind of mousse-like texture.
It's day 2 in the extreme diet ward, and after an uneventful breakfast...
What have you opted for today? Strawberry.
The 40-30-30 women are preparing their lunch.
That's just an amazing amount of lettuce, really. The grapes and the tomatoes and...
I just think it's massive.
As they wait for what will be the 4th meal of the regime, it seems the milkshakers are already counting down the days to the end of their diet.
So it's 55 days, so we've got 54. Tomorrow will be 53, 52.
Today is 55. It's just like it's the same milkshake that I had this morning.
Don't get despondent.
When you eat for dinner, it's kind of like 3 there eating food in front of you, and it's just kind of hard, if you get me.
Abby might be finding it tough, but in fact she's one of the lucky ones for whom a simple change in diet could save her life. Because for some type 2 diabetics, the only option is extreme and expensive weight loss surgery, something the Food Hospital's consultant surgeon Shaw Summers is very familiar with.
This kind of treatment is becoming really common. Here at our specialist unit in Portsmouth, we do approximately 200 or 300 operations a year. 10 years ago, we were doing half a dozen, so that's a huge increase.
Each operation costs the NHS approximately £8,000. As a nation, we're spending up to £10 billion a year on diabetes. That's around 1/10 of our NHS budget. Today, at the Queen Alexandra Hospital, Shaw is preparing to perform weight loss surgery on Tracy Fern Sweeney, who was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 2 years ago and now weighs in at 23 stone.
So your big day is here. Do you understand what we're up to today?
Yeah.
The risk compared to the risks of leaving you as you are, it's probably less to go with the surgery than leaving you with your diabetes and leaving you with your increased weight.
Yeah.
If Tracy gains any more weight, it will be far too dangerous for Shaw to operate.
I'm a ticking time bomb. I'm frightened that I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm frightened that I'm going to have a stroke or anything like that because of my weight.
I think we've just got to bite the bullet and do it, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tracy's deteriorating health has forced husband John to give up his teaching job to become her full-time carer.
It's affected my feet, so I'm finding it difficult to walk. I lose my balance. It's also now in my fingers, so I've got no feelings actually in the fingers. The fingers are numb as well. And this has all happened within the 2 years because of diabetes too. I've had to stop working. I was a nursing sister. I can't get about. I've lost my independence. I can't shower, I can't get in the bath. What normal things you take for granted to do, I cannot do. And it is down to the type 2 diabetes.
How are you feeling now, at the moment?
Scared. I'm a little scared.
A bit scared as well. I'll be fine.
You're right.
No, I'm... Love you, babe.
I love you.
Right, this is Tracy Fern-Sweeney.
Shaw's going to operate using keyhole surgery, which leaves less scarring and will improve Tracy's recovery time.
And we can see her liver there. It's got a number of little cysts and spots on it. Yeah, it's not a very healthy looking liver because of her diabetes.
This sleeve gastrectomy will remove 90% of Tracy's stomach so she can't eat as much, leading to weight loss and hopefully the reversal of her diabetes.
Here's the pancreas gland there, and instead of seeing that quite clearly, it's only just visible underneath this sea of visceral fat. The fat on the inside of Tracy tells me that she's in serious trouble from her diabetes. Removing the stomach removes some of the appetite hormone signals so that she just won't feel as hungry, which for most dieters is the thing to beat. The hunger. This is the bit that's coming out. There we go. That was Tracy's stomach. Over the next few hours, Tracy's going to recover from the anaesthetic, and then it's a question of waiting for all those staples to heal, and then she's just going to have to learn to eat again, and that in itself will help cement her success.
Tracy will have to eat soft food for the next few weeks so that her new, smaller stomach can adjust to processing food again. She'll then go back onto normal food, but in much smaller portions for the rest of her life. Back at the extreme diet ward, our 6 women have been offered a lifeline and are sitting down to lunch. On the menu for the foodies is barbecue pork and salad, whilst as a break from the monotony of the milkshakes, Kathy, Manjit and Abby have opted for the soup version of the drink.
What have you guys got?
Soup. Not as much as you. We've got vegetable soup.
But only a couple of mouthfuls in, Manjit, who's on just a third of the calories she usually eats, is next to feel the effects of the extreme liquid diet.
You okay? My energy's just gone completely down. No, I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm okay. Come on.
With Manjit feeling faint, Gio checks up on her.
How are you feeling? A bit lightheaded.
It's too much.
What's too much?
Having diabetes and...
Okay.
I mean...
Feeling very overwhelmed by it.
Oh God, what have I done? I wish I had looked after myself and I wouldn't be in this situation now.
Here you are, and you're doing something about it. You're doing what you can to address the problem.
Sorry.
It's all right. No, don't worry at all. Well, Manjit started to feel a bit lightheaded, a bit sick. She said she felt bad about having diabetes and she'd wished she'd done something earlier. I think that was what was underlying, and it just came to the surface and sort of overwhelmed her a little bit emotionally.
I'm feeling still a little bit wobbly. I'm desperate to eat something, really desperate, and I'm not coping too well. It's killing me. It really is.
It's the morning of day 3 on the Food Hospital Extreme Diet Ward, and our 6 women are preparing breakfast.
Day 3.
Ooh, bacon and eggs.
Oh, bacon and eggs. I think we're all pretty happy that bacon and eggs has arrived.
Everybody, that is, bar Milkshake Dieter Kathy.
It looks like they've brought out the big guns. Egg and bacon. I am more jealous than I've been to date. And right now I think I want to kill them and eat their food.
You're going to have to get used to the smells in everyday life. Like, I work in an outlet centre, so there's food wafting in and out of everywhere, so you're going to have to get used to the smells, I think. So it's challenging, but
push on through.
Whilst Abby's relying on willpower alone, Kathy's come up with a cunning plan to mask the smell of bacon.
You sprayed your hand with perfume, haven't you?
Yeah. It's working reasonably well. Just
that smells lovely.
I've kindly eaten my bacon first, so it's no temptation to the girls.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We like you, despite everything.
Oh.
Actually, I think my milkshake is it's not bad today with the ice in it.
Maybe that's the way forward.
Does it help to fill you up a bit more, or...?
Try not to think about it. So we're on day 3 of a 56-day diet. So we've got 53 days to go. I can see there being a 5-bar gate on my fridge door. You're almost delirious. You're coming off sugar, you're coming off carbohydrates. Other people are eating food. That is really hard.
To distract the women from their hunger and help them see where they've previously been going wrong, dietitian Lucy Jones wants to give them a lesson in portion control.
Grab your packets of pasta. I want you to portion out into the weighing scales what you think you would probably have per person in your household. Don't you? Have a go. Lovely. Now, can you tell me what the readout is on your weighing scales? Yours is 120, 200 grams, 140. Yours is tiny, about 70 grams. Yours is about 100. And Kathy?
260.
Who here thinks their portion is healthy? Well, you're about right. 70 grams of dried pasta for a standard adult would be a pretty healthy portion. And Kathy, that's quite a huge jump compared to the portion that you're used to.
I see that.
Yeah. Does that surprise you?
Not as much as you might think. No, I know that I have big portions of carbohydrates. Carbs are my thing. Were my thing. I think I emerged as the baddie in terms of portion control, and I was a little bit ashamed. My portions seemed to be way, way, way bigger than everybody else's. Or maybe I was just the only one being honest.
Okay, last game. I want you to pick out a potato which would represent the normal size of baked potato you'd have. If there isn't one, you can either pick 2 or cut a bit off one. Hold up your potatoes, what you'd eat. And you would have the both.
I would choose to have 2 because I like having the skin.
Well, I'm for you eating the skin. I'm probably not for you eating to that size.
You're going to say just 1, aren't you? Or worse still, that one.
What do you think? Go on, tell me what a healthy portion is.
I think that's a healthy portion.
Nikki's? Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with you. Because in fact, a healthy portion is around 2 egg-sized potatoes. So I would say that's about 2 eggs. There's a lot of sort of general guidelines you can use when you're at home. So if you take pasta, for example, 3 heaped tablespoons of pasta when it's cooked would be about the right portion. So has this been helpful?
Yes.
Yes. Or just depressing, Kathy?
No, both.
It's 1 p.m. The 40-30-30 dieters have taken over the kitchen, whilst the milkshake dieters have retired to the bedroom to avoid any tempting smells. On the lunch menu today is pita bread pizza.
There's quite a lot of mozzarella, guys, actually.
It is loads, isn't it?
Now starving after 3 days on their very low-calorie diet, Kathy and Manjit can't bear to be around food, or it seems rival dieter Nikki.
I was saying to Sammy earlier, everybody should get on everybody's nerves.
She just goes on and on.
I know. She's butting in.
This morning, I was trying to say something, you know, on the table. She just won't stop.
You wouldn't expect to eat this on a diet, would you?
Not at all. There's lots of cheese on it.
I'm really enjoying this. We've all bonded, but with Jodie and Sammy, we probably have gelled a little bit more, but only a tiny bit, because we all want to try and reverse our type 2 diabetes.
I think on day 3, some of the characters in the house are starting to emerge a little bit more, and I think there might be a couple of tensions. Nikki's, she's coming across as being somebody who wants to be seen as an expert in the subject, so I have to escape sometimes, and I hope she's not too upset by that. It's just my way of dealing with it.
Kathy may be finding her time in the extreme diet ward challenging, but she's one of the lucky women who've been given a lifeline. Britain's diabetes epidemic is now so bad that up to 1 in every 20 pregnant women has the disease.
Type 2 diabetes is increasingly becoming a disease of young women of childbearing age. For these women, pregnancy and childbirth is not only challenging, but far more dangerous.
Diabetic mums-to-be have a higher risk of miscarriage, are 5 times more likely to have a stillbirth, and are twice as likely to have a child with a birth defect. 2 of our dieters, Jodie and Nikki, experienced traumatic births.
After 30 hours of labour, Alex's heart rate dropped and I needed to have an emergency C-section, and he started to turn blue, and the paediatrician checked his sugar and said it was 0.1 and he needed to go into special care. And he stayed in special care for 9 days. It was horrible. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Today, I'm at the maternity unit of the Queen Alexandra Hospital in Portsmouth to meet a new mum who was diagnosed with gestational diabetes during pregnancy.
Is this your new arrival?
It is.
How old is he now?
He's 4 days old.
4 days old.
36-year-old Cherry was forced to have an emergency C-section 4 weeks before her due date, and baby Kai was whisked straight into intensive care.
I was antenatal for a routine diabetic appointment on Wednesday. Had a growth scan, and it stopped growing 2 weeks ago. So
okay.
I had trouble with my glucose levels; they weren't reaching him.
Right.
So we had to get him out ASAP.
Okay, so he came out cesarean section.
Yes, he did.
Emergency.
The following day, yeah.
Following day,
the following day. This was just really scary. I don't think I've quite got over the shock yet.
How heavy was he?
£3 9 ounces.
£3 9. So he was a little one. About a bag and a half of sugar is worth in weight. Wow.
Gestational diabetes is a type that occurs when the body can't produce enough insulin to meet the extra needs of pregnancy. Once you've had it, you're 7 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. In the UK, there are 23,000 births a year to diabetic women. And over half of these babies end up in intensive care, costing the NHS at least £13 million a year.
Were you unhealthy when you fell pregnant, or were you?
Obviously, I'm a large girl, so you know. But you know, I tried to keep my healthy balance as well because of my child. You know, so could have done possibly more.
Yeah.
But it has alerted me to definitely think about things for the future. You know.
Yeah. Little miracle baby that came out all right despite all the scary.
We're very lucky, very, very lucky. We do count ourselves that we're very fortunate. Bless him. Could have been a lot worse.
The hospital's director of midwifery, Jill Walton, and her medical team help deliver up to 6,000 babies a year.
Jill, what trends are you seeing with type 2 diabetes within pregnancy?
Well, it's doubled. So we've got about 300 women who've got type 2 diabetes who are pregnant in the year. Young women are getting fatter, they're less fit. We have our diabetic specialist midwives, we have diabetic specialist nurses, we have the doctors, the obstetricians with special interest, we have nutritionists. You know, it is much more costly than normal midwifery care for a woman having a normal pregnancy.
I came here as a GP and a new mum thinking I knew what there was to know about diabetes in pregnancy. I have learned a phenomenal amount today, and I've seen firsthand the consequences of type 2 diabetes if it's not managed correctly in pregnancy. So the message we need to be getting out there is that women need to get fit, eat healthily, and lose weight before they ever contemplate falling pregnant.
In a bid to diffuse the tension in the extreme diet ward, GP Gio Miletto wants the women to start incorporating some light exercise into their daily routine, so he sent them swimming.
I can feel the fat melting. All the calories I'm using to keep warm. However long.
It's very cold. It was cold when we got in, like shocked, really shocked. Actually, when you're swimming, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah. Coming out today, doing swimming and everything's given me a bit more of a boost and everything, so I'm really looking forward to carrying on with it really, and I know for 210% this time that I'm not going to be naughty or cheat or accidentally put something in my mouth, which in other diets I have done certain things like that.
Really nice to get out of the house. It's well needed, and we're on our 4th length already now, so...
Well, 5th nearly.
We're 5th, yeah.
I'm quite amazed by my swimsuit today, actually, because the bottom area feels a bit more baggy than normal. But, I mean, that's great, and, you know, hopefully in a few weeks' time or something I can get a new one.
I'm really, really ready to go home now. But this has been a nice diversion, coming here. I'm a bit out of sorts, and I think that my body's struggling to cope with some of the side effects of being on the diet. I'm not saying I'm constipated.
It will soon be time for the women to head home, and in order to motivate them into sticking to the diets, Lucy's asked their families to write them letters of support.
Hi baby girl, so proud of what you're doing. I know it's not going to be easy. But we will be here to make you laugh and help you whenever you need it. You can't begin to believe how proud we are of you. Can't wait to go for our shopping for our new wardrobe. Love you millions, Mum.
I think that's going to be a good one to stick up on the fridge.
Mm.
Go on then, Nikki.
I'm dreading it.
Are you?
Yeah. Can't even start to read it. I'm very proud of you for taking part in the food hospital. By taking part, you are helping others, which is a selfless, kind thing for you to do. It is very brave of you to confront your diabetes head on. I inquired with Lauren how she felt, and she said that she hoped Mum could learn a lot so that she could be healthier. Sorry.
Good motivation for the down days.
Definitely.
This is a huge challenge, and nobody is saying it's going to be easy. So good luck. We know you can do it.
I'm really looking forward to going home and starting the challenge.
I'm feeling very positive, so I will stick to it and I will continue with it, because I know at the end of the day it's for my health.
Coming up, how many, if any, of the women succeed in reversing their type 2 diabetes?
So the big question is, has the plan worked?
Eight weeks ago, these 6 women started 2 groundbreaking diets. Back home, Abby, Cassie and Manjit have been following the extreme 800-calorie-a-day milkshake diet.
It's just difficult. I think this is just the worst thing that I've ever done.
Oh, I think about all types of food. I think about it, don't eat it though.
It messes with your mind on a scale you wouldn't imagine.
Whilst Nikki and Sammy have been consuming double the amount of calories on the 40-30-30 ratio food plan.
It is actually quite easy. It's a lifestyle change.
I do get tempted, but I use what willpower I have to avoid eating sweet stuff.
Unfortunately, Jodie was unable to continue with the diet. Today, the women are back at the Extreme Diet Ward to find out if they have managed to reverse their type 2 diabetes. First in is Kathy.
I can't wait to see the other girls and see how they've got on. Looking forward to finding out what my results are as well, because I suspect mine are not going to be too great because I did do a bit of cheating.
Kathy is closely followed by Sammy.
Hello, how are you? Oh gosh, it's good to see you. Oh, baby.
Manjit,
There's been quite a few lapses over the 8 weeks, so a little bit worried, a little bit apprehensive about it.
Oh my God, look at you! Wow! Wow, 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 wow. Marilyn Monroe, how are you?
Hello!
Next in is Nikki.
Hi! How are you? Oh gosh. Good, you?
What are you doing? You look so well.
And finally, baby of the group, Abby.
I'm really hoping that I've reversed the type 2 diabetes because I've been sticking to it. So I'm hoping that today will be really good news as well.
Oh, Abby, you look brilliant.
Lovely little girl. Oh, you look so good.
Oh, wow, you look great. You skinny mini.
Now they're reacquainted, Gio and Lucy are ready to reveal the results. First up, have they lost weight? A key factor in how likely they are to have put their type 2 into remission.
Before we reveal about your diabetes status, we wanted to let you know about your weight loss. Kathy, you were 16 stone and 2 pounds, and today you are 15 stone and 1 pound.
Yes.
Sammy, when we first measured you, you were 19 stone 3. Now, you're 18 stone.
No, that's good. I'm pleased with that.
Next we have Abby. You were 17 stone and 6 pounds. Today, you are 15 stone and 5 pounds.
Yay!
Wow.
Manjit, you were 15 stone 6 and you're now 14 stone 1. Very good.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And finally, Nikki. You were 16 stone and 3 pounds. Today, you're 14 stone and 10 pounds.
Wow.
Between them, the women have lost 7 stone 3 pounds, 19 inches off their waistlines and 16 inches off their hips. But what effect has this had on their diabetes?
And now we have reached the moment that you've all been waiting for.
How many of you have managed to reverse your type 2 diabetes? Kathy, your results show that you still have type 2 diabetes. It's not all bad news. Your diabetes has improved. We measured your HbA1c, which is a blood test that looks at your sugars over the preceding few weeks. And originally, it was 7.4, and yours is 7.1. And there's more good news. Your liver fat has reduced by 57%.
Crikey. Wow. Oh, that's good.
Now we're coming to Nikki. Whilst you're not completely free of your diabetes, it really has improved.
And your liver fat has reduced by nearly 68%. So that is really exciting.
Manjit, we know you found the diet hard to stick to. At the moment, you do still have type 2 diabetes.
The good news is that your HbA1c was 9. You're now down to 7.3. That's a massive, significant drop. So well done.
Yeah, happy with that, definitely.
Sammy, along with Nikki, the big question is, has the 40-30-30 plan worked for you?
Sammy, you rechecked your bloods and they show you are no longer diabetic.
Wow.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good because I was really sceptical about it.
Happy lady?
Happy lady.
Next, we're coming to Abby. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
When you came to us, your diabetes was not well controlled at all. Your HbA1c was 9.1. Now, you no longer have type 2 diabetes. You had a long way to go, and you did it.
Your fasting blood glucose today is completely normal. That's an absolutely fantastic result.
It means everything to me that I managed to reverse it. When I got told last year, it crushed me completely. I just wanted to hear those words, and I'm glad I did.
Manjit, Kathy, Nikki, all of you have really significantly reduced the chance of secondary complications occurring from your diabetes. And if you carry on, you could still potentially reverse it in the weeks and months to come.
And the last 8 weeks have been a roller coaster, but I would not change them for the world, and I'd do it again if I had to, because of the results at the end were worth the torture. I've gained like 9 years of my life back to relive and enjoy.
I'm thrilled. I look at food in a completely different way now. It's great.
I think it's onwards and upwards, really. And I feel better for it as well. And I really needed this push in my life to get to where I am today.
The results were a lot better than they could have been, given the extent to which I was cheating. But I wasn't disappointed. I was quite pleased, especially in terms of what he said about my liver. That's good news, and that's something to work on.
After seeing the results, I'm now hopeful that the future holds for me what Abby and Sammy have achieved today, which is to be diabetic-free.
Many more people could benefit from a change of diet just like our volunteers. If Abby and Sammy stay free of their diabetes, it could save the NHS over £250,000 over their lifetimes. If the others continue to lose weight and put their diabetes into remission, that's a saving of well over £500,000.
Our results here today are big news. We've shown that you can reverse type 2 diabetes through changes in your diet, but it does take hard work and dedication. The great news is that it doesn't have to be extreme, and you can do it through normal, everyday foods.